Welcome back to Cymatic Sociology. I am your trippy tripsy, Cychadelic Cychopomp, Tahuti, Hermes, Trismegistus, and you are tapping in to the root of the CymaTree so you can tune in to the mind of Mercury as we finish this episode, this very spooky, this very terrifying, scary, this very real episode of Cymatic Sociology that is really going to set the tone for the rest of this series, honestly. Because the whole point of me creating Cymatic Sociology is for me to create a circumstance where we can talk about how all of our spirits literally make it possible for us to communicate about the mental atmosphere that we are all aware of, and how our mental atmospheres result in the physical structures that we use to relate with one another. So when we look at any animal, all these animals have different mental atmospheres than you and I. So that's why they're in different bodies, because their mental atmosphere resulted in a different structure when they choose to relate with spirits outside of themselves. So your mental atmosphere and my mental atmosphere, the mental atmosphere of humans, we are overall relating on this caduceus human man body. I mean, every spine is a caduceus. That's the point of the spine being made out of the caduceus. And Metatron being God's architect. When you look up Metatron, everything you see about him, he's God's architect. He's God's Spider-Man. So that's him creating connections that support you. But you don't support Metatron. You don't give a fuck about Metatron. You don't know who he is. So that's the point of Spider-Man, right? But it just goes as deep as your spine being your caduceus. And now you can use your kundalini to take your Merkaba out of your body and go be aware of God in a more personal way. Because the whole point is your mind is God's Merkaba. So you can fly with God wherever you want to go. And God is with you, right? God's always with you. That's Hermetic fact. That's Zoroastrian fact. It's just that the Masons weaponize my truth, Mercury truths, to sell you their Masonic lies. So now when they say God's with you, that's because they have to teach you that we're all created by one God, and that is an all-consuming jealous fireball named Jealous Jehovah who's controlling all of our consciousness. Literally. Like, that's what I've been taught for over 20 years of my life by the people who cloned Dave Chappelle. This is a trippy ass fucked up life. That's like crazy. I've like been through a lot of wild ass shit, and things are just like getting crazier. Like life is wild. So if you haven't seen the last two parts of this episode, go watch those before you watch this. This is the last part of us providing the platform for Dave Chappelle's cousin to share the truth about how Dave Chappelle has been colonized, his consciousness, and not his consciousness, but his image, the energy that we have to relate with Dave Chappelle has been colonized by the Masons who cannibalize his flesh and consume his soul. Now, his soul is not actually trapped by them. The point is his soul is always personally connected to his spirit, his God, his space. He's okay. But all the energy he put into being Dave Chappelle has been manipulated and twisted by the KKK, the Killing Kids Kindly, the Masons, the racist religions that worship Jealous Jehovah, so that they can make money keeping us trapped in their Matrix metaverse and making us worship their idea of one true God and everything. So this is terrifying, this is sad, and this is real. This is what I was called here to talk about, and this is why, you know, again, these are Spider-Man duties, all right? Great power comes great responsibility. I have the power to talk about this in a certain way, so it's my responsibility to create connections that no one else saw previously. And then boom, now that seems pretty powerful, and we can all expand our awareness together, and now we're all superheroes. We're all in a pantheon of infinite godlyhood, infinite individuals. As spirits, anything is possible when we believe in our ideas of God. Now, of course, the point is, The limitations come from the contracts of physical reality. For example, white people literally believe that anything is possible when they believe in God. So that's why they break every single treaty that they make with Native Americans. Because when they agree to a contract with us, they say, hey, are you guys going to uphold this? Because we made this contract for you to uphold. Are you guys going to uphold it? And that's the Europeans asking us as indigenous peoples if we're going to sign their treaty. And the moment we agree to their contract, like, yeah, we'll agree to your contract, the white people are like, cool, we're going to use this to expand into your territory now. Because we just get to do what we want. The past doesn't matter. The past isn't real. We just have this ego. We have this projection. We have this fire desire of how we can use the past to deny the past. So yeah, and please sign that treaty. Please sign this treaty. And then you get that hundreds and hundreds of times. So all the land in North, South, and Central America was stolen by men who are literally using contracts to ignore agreements, to steal things that they would not otherwise steal. So they use contracts to lie, when a contract is supposed to be you agreeing to a certain truth. But because they don't actually uphold that contract, they break it, they use it to lie, and then that's how white people always get what they want. So because white people wanted to clone Dave Chappelle, they were able to use a contract to lie to him, and then they expand into his territory, steal his family, and now we just have the history of America. This is how Europe stole the Americas from indigenous men like Dave Chappelle. And this is, again, what they say in the movie Avatar. It's really terrifying. It's disgusting. But this is how Masons make money. It really makes me not want to be here. But I'm supposed to trust God, not jealous Jehovah. That's the demon who wants to be called God. I'm supposed to trust my relationship with all the spirits that are creating this simulation that called me away to be the messenger for God. And in this case, the messenger of God is Hermes and Metatron at the same time, because that's all Mercury. But I'm CymaTree. All right, so Chase, I'm CymaTree. Yay.
You see, does not have it. And then this new clone has David Chappelle's brain, his mindset. Now, David Chappelle, and I do believe this with my heart and my soul, because as I stated before, David and I, we were very, very close. I knew every gesture, every word that David would say. Sometimes I would say something and David would finish it. Wow. David would say something and I would finish it. There's many times that David would come to the different cities or states and do his comedy shows, even at the comedy clubs. I was there. I was there. The time he came to Washington, D.C., because I'm in New York. I live in New York. But the time he came to Washington, D.C., they called me and told me to come on down to the Warner Club. I was there. And if you get the video, if you get that video of David being at the Warner Club in D.C., David will tell you on the stage. I have family members in the audience. Well, you know who their family members was? It was me and my damn family. And after the show was over, I went behind the stage and I talked to my David, my cousin. You see what I'm saying? So I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that David, when they cloned David, David was fighting all the way. I mean, he was resisting, and
did horrible things.
They didn't inject him with anything. No, and if David signed anything, if David signed a second contract, it was because David was believing, because he said the only way I'll redo the Chappelle show is that things have to be the way I want them to be. The funds will have to go to the people. He said it on Oprah Winfrey, and he said it to me. And so they had David thinking and believing. I do believe that's the way it would be.
The Masons made Dave Chappelle think that he would actually be able to make his show for the people, when in reality, they're not putting presidents in office for the people. The whole point of the president is to kill us, as Orlando Brown literally has said. All right, they're shooting us. They want to shoot us and kill us from the inside, while creating an atmosphere on the internet where they can police how we talk about it and make sure that they cut us down if we talk about how they shoot us and kill us too much. And it's all government funded. This is how they make money. The bank stole the Ankh from Tahuti Trismegistus because they want to be the keys to life. And the Illuminati, they're the people who are willing to do the most ill things to pay their B-ills, their bills. So the bank makes us all sick as a people by stressing us out with bills. Constantly giving us bills and making us produce cancer from the inside and scared of the future and not able to enjoy life. That's how they kill us from the inside. And they want us to get shot so that we have to keep paying our bills. So it's like they're doing all this meta ways of killing us from the inside. They have a bunch of meta ways to kill us with their shots, while making sure they cut us down and lynch us and crucify us if we talk about what they're doing to us. So it's really disgusting and terrible, but this is what the idea of one true God gives you. This is why Masons can work together, but the people who worship one true God can't. Fundamentally. The Masons know that they're weaponizing all of my past lives to teach you that you only live once. But if you don't know that, then your mind is just trapped in their desires, because they taught you that everything's one true God. And that's a desire that is controlled by Satan, by Santa Claus. Santa's clauses, all these clauses that people are supposed to sign are really Satan's claws, stealing, ripping families apart so that they can cannibalize children. Like, this is literally, bro, come on. This is literally the New World Order. This is literally Masons. Like, this is what he's talking about. This is why I was called here by Atlantis and the spirits creating this simulation to share the truth. Because it's just really horrible. This is fucked up. This is reality. This is what believing in one true God makes possible. Now these Masons can enact jealous Jehovah's will against people, pimping people out. Against people, pimping people out, whatever. Jealous Jehovah can enact his will, pimping people out for money. All the way down to cloning celebrities. Simply because this is the New World Order fire desire. We're all controlled by one ego. This is what white people worship. This is literally why white people call themselves white, and why they use their religion to erase our individuality and then play like they're the victims of racism. Like, white people created racism by using their religions to erase our indigenous individuality. But they're the ones who want to complain about being victims of racism. So it's just like, it's so, yeah, these are the Christian contradictions that allow colonizers to cannibalize children. So when you see Jesus on the cross and people worship cannibalizing his flesh, drinking his blood, eating him, yeah, that's Satan. That's Santa. That's Santa saying worship Christmas for Jesus. Like, this is literally their Mason operation. That's why Mercury and Mason's not the same. I'm completely separate space. They colonized and stole everything from me because they want to be seen as all my past lives. And then they want to be seen as you. That's why they want to colonize and cannibalize everyone that they see as creative. And now we have this Dave Chappelle conversation.
And to get him down, and to not get him down, but to take him to the underground cloning lab. And once they got him there and David saw what it was, David wanted to get the hell out of there, but they held him against his wishes. And when they held him against his wishes, that's when they put him in the cloning lab thing, or whatever they put him in, and that's when they cloned him. And once they got a replica of David Chappelle, then they killed the original David Chappelle. They killed his ass. But they knew they were not ready to send him back home to his family yet. They knew they had to do something with the family to make it believable that the one that they were sending back to them was the original. This is how these people work. I'm telling you, and I know.
This is how the European colonizers who created the Americas, by breaking every single treaty they ever made with us, work. Yes. That's how they've been making all their money, so that white people can worship Marvel and the Holy Bible. Yes.
What I'm talking about, and because David, David was a funny man. He didn't have many friends. After he thought about his life, David didn't have many friends, because the friends that he had, they turned on, and I truly believe that was that Neil Brennan turned on him with the things that he said, what Neil Brennan said about David, and that was David's buddy. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it is in the show business world. And so when you look at this new being on television, and the man not even funny, this is not the original David Chappelle. You all go pay money to see his shows, and the money that you're paying, it's not going to David's family, because David's family is a bunch of clones. You're paying money to the Illuminati. That's who you're paying the money to. And so David's this David is not even funny. His jokes that he tells, and I look and I try to, you can't laugh at because the man is nothing like the original. He doesn't, and then you listen to the tone of voice, he doesn't even sound like the old original David. And so, and it breaks me to my heart, because I know now that and I haven't received another phone call from my cousin David. And it breaks me to my heart that I will never receive a phone call from David. We'll never receive another visit from him. You see, and
that would not be possible if that was the real David Chappelle. We can see as humans, it's logistically impossible for the real David Chappelle to still be out there, for that to be the real David Chappelle, but he never called his cousin back and never talked to him again. Logistically impossible. Like, from a basic empathetic standpoint, we can see, yeah, that's not possible. You can't have a relationship with one soul like that and then just be gone. Dave Chappelle's cousin, I believe him. I just it's not logistically possible for his cousin to be lying about this. It's just not possible. This is, Dave Chappelle would have called him back. I think we can all agree that Dave Chappelle would have called his cousin back after signing that contract and beefing up at the gym. Dude, like, come on, bro. Dave Chappelle was like, instead of calling my cousin, I'm just gonna get really fucking swole. I'm gonna work out my neck. I'm gonna attach weight to my head and fucking hit these neck curls. Really? Are you gonna sit here and actually say that Dave Chappelle chose to go to the gym every single day for years instead of calling his cousin back for taking creatine? Really? Are we gonna say that he got eye surgery and he somehow just like squished his eyes together and changed his face shape? Got a different voice? Are we really gonna sit here and say that that's what Dave did after he signed that $1 million contract? We're gonna do that? I really hope humans aren't that stupid. If humans are that stupid, then these shots are really working. The metals are blocking up people's ability to think. Because this is bonkers. This is so blatant. This is horrible.
And it's sad. It is really sad. When David, he found himself. He wanted to get away from show business. And he said the only reason why he would come back to do the Chappelle show is that he would have to do it his way. And these people whomever they are, they made him
Who makes this
believe.
religion
Yeah, they and
that worship?
and I'm pretty sure it sounds convincing. They made him think and believe that this is the way we're going to do it. We'll do it your way. And because they had all intentions of taking Dave out, just like they did Martin Lawrence, just like they did Bernie Mac, and there are other stars that they have taken out. You see, and we think that they have died just in their sleeps, or they, or something of this nature happens to them, or something of that nature happens to them. You see, or they're one way, before, and then they come back after a certain period of absence, and they come back a different way. This David has no soul. He has no spirit. Sure.
Keywords for chaseism. Two big keywords: space and soul, same thing, analogous. Or my bad, space and spirit, same thing, analogous. Space, spirit, same thing. The spirit is your space. So my spirit is my space. That's why I, as Chase, am not Chase. I'm a space. But I have to believe the lie that I am Chase, because that allows my soul to connect with your soul. So now I use the lie of Chase to communicate about symmetry. And now really symmetry is my soul. And then that's me, boom, being real, right? Now I'm relatable, because I'm not just a human flesh bag with no personality. I have a very intricate soul behind this structure that you see. And then the longer you wait with me, you can start to see more of what my soul sees based on what my soul wants to communicate about. But of course, you can never see my soul. Anyone who says that you can see a soul is very stupid and wrong. Very stupid and wrong. You cannot see a soul. You've never seen a soul. That's not how souls work. Your soul is your ability to connect with your spirit. So that's all your emotions. So you feel your soul. That's why your water is your soul. But then water, from a spiritual perspective, is the vibration that makes matter move. So if your body matters to you, then it's going to move because you made a structure out of your soul. You see that? Okay, so again, you can get into my courses to actually learn how deep that goes, but this is actually life. So shout out Dave Chappelle's cousin, because that's what he's talking about. This Dave Chappelle does not have the original space, aka spirit, or soul, aka vibration. And that's why his voice is different. He literally is not the same soul. He's a Westworld robot. If you haven't seen Westworld, this is real fucking life. This is real fucking life. Predictive programming. This is real life. Westworld. They did Westworld to Dave Chappelle. They Westworlded him. And when you see Westworld, you're going to see that they're obsessed with raping and murdering Native Americans. They're obsessed with eating us and killing us. That's their fantasy. That's why Westworld is called Westworld. They literally blasted to it. This is so traumatized. This is so evil. We have to say something. We have to say something. Gotta say something. Gotta say something. Gotta say something. This is disgusting. This is horrible. But they Westworlded Dave Chappelle. All right. So if you don't know about Westworld, know that this is exactly what they're doing. They're creating synthesoid flesh robots that they can use to copy the souls that they desire to cannibalize. So because no one can actually steal your soul, they can't actually keep Dave Chappelle's soul away from his space. That's chaseism, okay? Use chaseism to keep yourself safe. Know that your soul cannot actually be separated from your space. Your soul cannot be separated from your space. You had to build a structure that uses energy to relate your soul to other souls. But you are not energy. Masons teach us that we are energy because this is the system that's cannibalizing our consciousness. But you produce energy by vibrating at a certain frequency. All right, so your frequency, fire, vibration, water, energy, air, your matter is earth. So everything that matters to my soul, I'm able to communicate about it because I can produce energy from my emotion. You can't see what matters to me. That's why you can't see my soul. You can't see what matters to me. When you look at me, you see what matters to you. So this is how I know that everyone is really in their own ego. really, people are blinded by their own ego, by their idea of God. And that's why when they get lost in white supremacy, they justify systems like these. They justify slavery and rape, genocide, trafficking, all the evil shit, because they're lost in their egotistic desire to appear like a good person. So they're willing to be comfortable in that lie. They're just lying comfortably in their egotistic desire to appear like a good person while they do the most evil shit to build their empire. Masons. They stole everything from me as Mercury so that they can stabilize their chaotic emotions. That's why they're obsessed with making money, but they're not teaching any of us what money means. I didn't even learn how to do taxes in school. I didn't learn how to make money in school. Let alone, I didn't learn Metatron's math. I have to learn this shit by doing DMT and fasting and meditating and going through my psychedelic spiritual journey. Like, I have to put the work in. And everyone else is telling me not to put the work in. So my personal relationship with God, mine, not yours. So this is just one universe in Metatron's metaverse, okay? And this shit is evil. They stole this technology from Atlantis, and they're using it for evil, disgusting, bad purposes. It's very sad. And they've perverted everything. They stole everything from Atlantis. That's why the Egyptian pyramid is back on the dollar bill. On the back of the dollar bill with that all-seeing Woden eye. That's their idea of being at the top of the mountain. Their idea of being Hermes, the KKK, Kukul Khan, practicing grand wizard magic so that they can rain their brain down to all the sheep below. And if you follow Jesus Christ as your shepherd, you're a sheep. Just look at the language. It's just a language. I'm not insulting you. If you're a Christian, I'm telling you that you agree to be a sheep if you say Jesus is your only shepherd. Like Jesus can't be a shepherd if his followers aren't sheep. So again, they stole this from me as Hermes. I don't even want followers. I want you to follow yourself. Now, of course, God has put me in a position where they've been cutting down my accounts too hard. So I'm not getting followers, even though I'm working super hard. But the whole point is that, of course, if people aren't following my accounts, then I'm not talking to anyone that cares about what I'm saying, right? So that's really the energy of a follower as we see in social media world now, right? The whole point of following someone is that you care about what they're saying. It's not like they're your shepherd. They're leading you somewhere. But it is funny because naturally the energy that we have when we listen to people is to follow that train of thought. Right? So this is why people unfollow people on social media. Right? I mean, I went through that with fasting. Hella people unfollowed me when I shifted my account from a costume account to a spiritual fasting account. Hell, so many people unfollowed me. So many people. I lost thousands of followers. Because people they can't follow the fasting. They can't follow my mind when I'm talking about fasting. And that shows me that, of course, they don't want to pay attention to what I care about. So they want to cut me off. Right? So they stole all that energy from Hermes. That's why when you look up Hermes, you're going to see that he's the sheep herder. Hermes herds the sheep. He plays his music, his flute, and his lyre, because everyone's a liar. That's the point of playing music. He's letting you know, like, hey, everyone's a liar. Like, you're living a lie right now. Like, don't get too invested in life. Life is a lie. That's why this language is a lie. Life, light, lie is a life, light is a lie, all that shit. I just naturally make these connections, okay? Because this is me, according to God. So again, I'm forced to either trust God or the devilish Satan that has taught me to call it God, but it's never taught me about myself. It's only ever taught me to worship white supremacy and what is done to Dave Chappelle. But I'm not supposed to know what they did to Dave Chappelle because I'm supposed to be blinded by white supremacy. So again, if people think that Dave Chappelle's cousin is lying about this, they would truly have to be so blinded by their desire to support white supremacy that it would hurt. It would hurt. It would hurt me. You know, and that's how people use their ego to hurt your feelings, right? So let's say if you go through a traumatic experience, but then someone says, your trauma doesn't matter. Ignore it. Shut up. then that hurts, right? Because they're using their ego to express a frequency that doesn't vibe with you. They're not connecting with your experience, with your memories, with what matters to you. They're trying to separate you from what matters to you so that you can support their vision. And then this is how white people use Jesus to make all of us followers of a jealous God. So now the moment we believe that we're all children of God, but the only true child of God is Jesus, now we can only follow the jealous Jehovah that is giving us his white supremacist teachings that he stole from Metatron anyway through Jesus. But this is Masonic witchcraft. This is scary. So you would truly have to be blinded by your ego in a way that hurts me and people like Dave Chappelle's cousin to take in this account and say, that's still the real Dave Chappelle. I think that's the real Dave Chappelle because, and then you use your ego, you use your imagination to make up reasons why this Westworld Chappelle is somehow still the flesh and bone one, even though he still has not called his actual flesh and blood cousin to this very day. Don't do that to yourself. I hope you're not lying to yourself like that. This is real life, okay? Just accept that this is Dave Chappelle's real cousin sharing a very real account of why the real Dave Chappelle has been Westworlded into this fake synthesoid dude. Mason. They stole Dave's Mercury. They stole his mind. But again, they don't own his mind. His mind is his spirit. He's good. Like his spirit still has his mind. But they took all the energy that his mind put into being Dave Chappelle so that they could transmute it into this Westworld robot.
He can eat and drink like like you and I can. He can drink like you and I can. He can bleed like you and I can.
Like Westworld.
But the thing about it, he has no soul and no spirit. These type of clones are called synthetic robotoids.
Synthetic robotoids.
And that's what this new Dave Chappelle is.
Westworld. This is literally Westworld. This is so fucked up. HBO really made that show. I think they canceled the last season, which is insane. That's like what they did for Utopia. The show where they're talking about forcing all of us to get injected because they're teaching us to be scared of the air.
Synthetic robotoid. That's what Britney Spears is. That's what all the other of these singers and actors and actresses and comedians, that's what all of them are.
So the entire Hollywood industry at this point is synthetic robotoids, is what he's saying. At least most of them. Right? And this is basically what Orlando Brown is saying too. This is what Kanye is saying. This is what B.O.B. is saying. I didn't think Cymatic Sociology was going to lead to this territory. But the point of me bringing Mercury to Earth is that I'm reacting to the social atmosphere as it is. I've lived a life of reacting to spirits outside of myself. I know for a fucking fact that I am not in control of you or anyone else. Therefore, no one is in control of me outside of my space. I'm the only one in control of me. But if people want to manipulate my relationship with the environment I'm in, that's how Masons use money to manipulate all of our emotions, right? So now I have scoliosis because I was forced to go to school and learn white supremacist lies. And now I have to use everything that I share in Decolonize Your Face to heal my spine, to straighten my spine in general, to realign my spine with the highest good of my God, because school fucked me up, brought me out of alignment. It's all intentional. It's all Masonic. All right. So when the Masons use Spider-Man to teach us to stay in school and get shot, and they draw upon the Spider-Man in that last Spider-Man movie so that all three Spider-Man can come out from the Spider-Verse like, yeah, get shot. This is jealous Jehovah's way of killing us from the inside out and controlling our consciousness from the inside out, and making sure that we don't produce DMT, making sure we don't fast, making sure that we're not connected to our spirits, and we don't feel like we have our own souls.
Have warned each and every one of them, told each and every one of them, or each and every one of us, how they hate they got into the business. Kanye West said the same thing. Kanye West has spoken about, how he gave him his mother as a sacrifice. How, how the business is. He has told us about that. Britney Spears and I could go on and list and list and list, but there's so many. You see what I'm saying? But David, he tried to tell people about the business when from the time that he stepped out of the executive office of the torture and what they put upon him or what they said to him, it scared him so bad that he had to get away. And that's why he went to Africa. That's exactly why he went. But when he went to Africa, he had not signed his name in blood. So all of you who saying that he did, stop it. You stop it, because he did not sign his name in blood. I know. I talked to the man even after he came out of the meeting with the executive. I talked to him, and I could also tell you, some things that how I really, really know of how he talked to me about the things that went in meeting, with the executive. But I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that, because that's why I'm keeping my voice anonymous, because they'll come after me too. You see?
He is keeping his voice, he's distorting his voice. This recording is distorted because he has to keep himself safe from jealous Jehovah, from the racist Masons, the racist religions that want to manipulate his emotions and all of our emotions by making clones. Man, it's just so sad that he's gone through this and still going through this, because he's never going to get that call from Dave until he attends an ayahuasca ceremony or he uses DMT to talk to Dave's soul directly, like I've been able to do with my dog. Hell yeah. That's what Dave Chappelle's cousin needs. He needs a very beautiful DMT trip where he focuses on connecting with Dave's soul so that he can talk to him just like I talk to Anubis. But that's psychopomp activity for a later day. It'd be really nice if somehow even just me putting this idea out on the internet leads to one chain reaction and another chain reaction where he can use ayahuasca or psychedelics to actually do it. And if it's connected to me saying that he can, and me bringing that possibility here and making that relatable through Mercury, then I'd be very happy. I would love that. I would love for him to reconnect with Dave before he leaves this body and to be able to build a relationship with Dave. I mean, it'd be great if he could just be safe and protected. Again, sending higher angels to make sure his idea of heaven is brought to earth and he's safe, because he deserves so much better than this. This is so horrible that Masons do this to us so that they can make money out of us, because they need us this much. Terrifying.
Talk to me, so I'm not going to go into depth as to the things beyond our conversations that David and I had, or the meetings that we've had, or the dinner talks, or the little drinks after, that we've had. No, I'm not going to do that. I have pictures of me and David together, and David's my uncle William, and the rest of the family members. I have pictures of us at the family reunions. I even have pictures of the times that I went to David's show, and him asking me to come on down, cuz I have pictures of that. You see, but I don't have to prove to you, because I know that the same blood that David had running in his veins and in his body, the original David, is the same blood that I have. We were first cousins. This new clone that's out there is nothing to me. He's not my cousin. I don't know this person, so he's nothing. My aunt Yvonne, no, None of them people on that side, it means anything to me anymore because they're all clones. Now you can believe it, you can accept it, or you can reject it. But I know what I know, and it's a sad thing because now I know that I will never receive any phone calls. I will to tell me or to ask me, "Cuz, come on down." I will never laugh again, especially from him. And there's a whole lot of things that I will be missing out that comes directly from David to me. And so you all out there, you made your own thoughts, your own theories, things on YouTube or wherever you have it at, that you can put together the pieces of what you think that David did, the pieces that you did. No, sweetheart, I know what David did. And because David, he let me know all the way up until the minute. And he was supposed to call me after the second visit from the executives. And Oprah Winfrey, terrible. I'm telling you, Oprah Winfrey, Al Sharpton, Whoopi Goldberg, and there was a few others, and Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and did you know that, and let me tell you this too, David told me this too, did you know that David and my auntie Vaughn went to a theater one day to see a movie, and when David told me that his mother, Auntie Vaughn, had went to the bathroom, and then Al Sharpton came up to him and told him that he didn't like what he was doing, that David was doing in betraying the blacks on the Chappelle show. Did you all know that? No, I didn't get this. This is what my cousin David told me, and he told me some other things too that I'm not going to go into details about because, like I said, this is why I am keeping my voice anonymous because they'll come after me. Right. So there's a few things I can say and a few things I can't say, but I do know with a fact, 175% that
that's Westworld Dave. Like that's a clone of Dave because he's not talking to his cousin anymore. It's not possible for the real Dave to just stop talking to his cousin after they have that real of a relationship. Like, that's insane. That's, and he looks entirely different face and body.
That you see on TV as Dave Chappelle is nothing but a robotoid clone. That's all he is. He has no blood running in his veins. Oh yes, cut him. Oh, he'll bleed. But it's not the blood like David Chappelle had veins all over his body. Okay. And this man here, his jokes is not fun.
The robots in Westworld bleed, but that's because the Masons obviously clearly designed them to imitate the human body in as many ways as they can, while of course upgrading the human body through metal.
I want no parts of this new clone, and I found out that this new Dave Chappelle went to the White House. Now David Chappelle never ever went to the White House. Never ever been inside the White House on the White House ground. Now this new clone is at the White House.
Bro, and let's not forget that the real Dave Chappelle really said that he didn't want any part of it. He only changed when they said that they would let him do it his way. But have we seen him do it his way? I haven't seen him do his show his way. So that was the last thing that they used to create Westworld Dave. Like,
with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, he's there, here, everywhere. The old David didn't do that. The old David didn't do that. That's why he bought the farm in Ohio, to have his freedom, to have his privacy. Sure, when it needed be, yeah, he was around certain of the people that starred on this Chappelle show. And David was crazy about Charlie Murphy. Yes, Charlie Murphy was another one of his buddies. Now, this new clone David killed Charlie Murphy, had Charlie Murphy killed. Believe what I'm saying now. This new Dave Chappelle, this clone, made Charlie Murphy a blood sacrifice. This new clone. Why? Because it.
Again, everyone who worships the blood sacrifice of Jesus by default worships this system and this this business model of blood sacrificing. That's the government killing Jesus. They teach you that this is what they do to celebrities, to stars, to children of God.
Has to continue to be money coming in. Now, I talked to Charlie Murphy on the telephone too, not in length like I did with my cousin David, but there were times when I would talk to Charlie. Little cuz, how you doing? So, I'm fine, Charlie. How you doing? I'm okay. I'm with Dave. I said, yeah, I see that you with Dave. So, and each time that I would talk with him, his voice was strong. His voice was strong. And, asked him how he was doing, this sort of thing. And like I said, I didn't talk to Charlie Murphy like I would with Dave. And there wasn't no constant talking to Charlie Murphy like I did with David Chappelle. But I do want to say this, is that this new Dave made Charlie Murphy a sacrifice. Because
Masons.
And the reason why is because
Jehovah.
That you have to do it in order to go higher. And this is what they, being the dark inner circle, the Illuminati, had to have this new Dave Chappelle to do to go higher. So whether you believe this or not, everything that I've said to you is nothing but the truth. You have your own theories that you want to give, that you think that happened to David Chappelle, my cousin, or even with Charlie Murphy. You can think what you want to believe, but I'm telling you, listeners out there, it's sad to me and it breaks my heart to know that my cousin, a person that was in my life, his father and my father were brothers. And it hurts me to know that the child that my Uncle William gave birth to, well, his wife did, is no longer here with us anymore. And they are perpetrating this new clone. And I consider him as a demonic spirit. That's all he is.
And there it is, yep. This is going to be 4 parts. We'll conclude this in the next part. Yeah, Dave Chappelle's cousin, saying it straight, is a demonic spirit. And we know in Chaseism, a demonic spirit is an earthly spirit that feels like it needs to consume earth in order to be happy. So that's where those are the demons that are more than happy to play a role, where they can consume the earth of someone else, consume the body of someone else, so that they can play the image of someone else. Because as a demon, that allows them to be seen a certain way that they would not have otherwise been seen. And then overall, in the spirit realm, that shows us that these demons, they don't believe in their own souls. They believe in other people more than themselves. So they feel like, literally, jealous Jehovah. They become jealous of what everyone else has, and they feel the need to consume everyone else's creations in order to be happy. The problem is, a demonic spirit, no matter how much they consume, right? Metatron has given jealous Jehovah everything, but jealous Jehovah only wants to consume even more of Metatron. So when spirits are literally that demonic and they're that jealous, they're never going to be happy no matter how much you give them. So that's the problem with a demon right there. That's the whole problem with a demonic spirit. They're never going to be happy no matter how much you give them, because they're not actually happy alone. They feel like they are only happy when they consume something, right? This is how the government trains everyone who feels like they need pharmaceutical medication to be demonic. If you feel like you need pharmaceutical medication to be healthy and happy as a human, you are playing out the demonic energy that this system is enslaving you in. Literally. This is the energy of being a demon. So that's why water fasting, all right, allows you to walk on water, separate from that earth, and now you're just straight up with God. That's the whole point of Jesus fasting, to be with God. being with God really means being the closest to your spirit as possible so that you can protect yourself from demonic spirits, from other spirits that want to consume your earth and cling onto you and use you to stabilize themselves. That's why I'm not friends with my white friend. Bradley is the name that I use for him in the podcast. You can check out my podcast to hear all about that story, how I was brought out to San Diego by Bradley. And then Bradley showed me how he desired to consume me based on the environment that he brought me into. And then it's up to me to raise my vibration and separate from his demonic energy, because he wanted to consume me just like everyone that he brought me around for his own valuable white purposes. So this is overall white culture. White people are very much cannibalistic in that sense that they want to be seen as the creations that they're consuming. So this is how Masons, again, they want to be seen as Dave Chappelle. These demonic spirits want to be seen as you and me. These demonic spirits want to be seen as these forms of consciousness that they're colonizing. So that's why they cannibalize what we create and then teach us that we're not creative. And now they can use our energy to trap us, again, in the Masonic Matrix metaverse that they stole from Metatron. So I'll see you in part 4, where we will wrap up Dave Chappelle's cousin's account of why Dave Chappelle got so beefy. Why did Dave Chappelle get so beefy? Now we know. Now we know. He's got that special in with the government. See you later. Yeah.